Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Server Play. This is Scoots42, and we are back on the Direwolf server again today. I did do a little bit of mining, and I got some more of the diamonds we need, so we can continue making these empowered diamantine crystal blocks. So let's do that. And let's go ahead and get a block of diamond. Now, I lucked out with that first one, and basically all but 3 of those diamantine crystals I actually found in villages. The villages in this pack sometimes spawn actually additions houses, and if you look in the upper portion of the house, it's usually a 2-story house, and the upper portion usually contains actually additions crate that is full of various and assorted random actually additions things. Let's see, so to get this empowered, I believe we needed a block of clay, and we'll also need 2 extra blocks. See, I keep doing that wrong. There we go. I keep forgetting that some of these things only need 4 to make a block, and I believe we also needed some light blue dye, which I think we have 1 left of. Let's see, we make a little room down here. All right, so let's go and get this block empowered. Let's see, clay block. Clay, light blue dye. And that should give us our second empowered diamantine block. Hopefully it won't take too long. And I am really liking our new power system. I think before we head back to get this crafted, I am going to talk to you guys a little bit about the magmatic dynamo that I crafted. Once this is all crafted up. There we go. Now we've got our second block. So let's take a look at this magmatic dynamo. You can see we can put out a maximum of 240 RF per tick. Right now we're putting out only about 55-ish, maybe up to 60. And that's because these canola oil generators are still doing a good amount of the work. And I'm fine with that. I just don't want to run out of power. So, honestly, I don't care if the canola is working, in concert with this. I'll continue using the canola and the magmatic until we need more power. And then I'll decide whether or not the canola is worth hanging on to at that point. But for now, this seems to be working. We've got a good backlog of canola. I think that we're actually ending up with a surplus. It is a little hard for me to tell exactly, but basically I'm still using power, and when I use power, of course, it's going to pull from any available source for the power, and that's okay. Let's get some of this stuff out of here and make a run for it. Nighttime is not the right time on the Direwolf20 server. Let's take a little bit of a nap here. There were a few things I needed to do, though, to get that magmatic dynamo up to the level it's at right now. And I think I'll go ahead and just show you guys some of what I had to do. Basically, the base version of the dynamo will generate, I believe it's 40 RF a tick. And that's not the greatest, if we're being honest. So what I did was I put in, where did it go? 2 of these guys. If we look under the Augment tab, you can see that we have an auxiliary transmission coil, and I've actually got a second one. Now the downside to this is that the machine does not store as much RF as it does initially, but we're putting out a lot more per tick, and right now that's what I wanted. But before we can do that, again, the base version of it you cannot upgrade it right away. You've got to use these upgrade kits. And first I had to make a hardened upgrade kit, which uses a bronze gear, Invar ingots, and redstone. And just putting that in took it from 40 to 60. And then we did a reinforced upgrade kit, which is electrum, a silver gear, and any hardened glass, which we needed the induction smelter for. And we get that with lead ingots and pulverized or crushed obsidian of some kind. And I could not go straight to the Signalum upgrade kit. You have to go from the lowest and work your way up. And right now this guy's at the reinforced upgrade kit level. And each time you upgrade it, you unlock another augmentation slot. So that's how that works. And I just kind of wanted to go over that. I rushed through that because I desperately needed power at the time. The canola was not keeping up with all of the new machines and all of the new mechanics, especially once we added the grid. It just wasn't going to keep up. And even though this is only using, 50, almost 60 a tick, that's not really a whole lot compared to, this system's going to be using a lot more than 60 FE or RF or whatever you want to call it a tick. It's going to be using a lot more than that before we're done with it. So I think supplementing the power, it had to be done right away, and I did not have time to wait for an episode to go over that. We may go over it in better detail once we start needing to work on upgrading the power again. But anyway, let's go ahead and work on getting ourselves the experience solidifier. Go ahead and put you in there. And that's this guy. I think we're going to need a basic coil. I don't think I have any of those. I might, though. I honestly don't remember. And an advanced coil. We're going to need to make some golden nuggets. And that's honestly one of the reasons I think I want to start getting into the compacting drawers, because we wouldn't have to stop and do this. The compacting drawers are actually kind of nice for this. And so there is our advanced coil. And let's go back to the solidifier. I think that's everything we need. There we go. Now we have an experience solidifier, and let's find a good place for you to live. I'm thinking maybe right there in that corner looks good for now. There we go. So I can put in whole bits. It looks like whole levels. It does not look like I'll be able to get rid of that last little bit of level, which is fine. And I can take out stacks of these at a time. I believe I can put them back in. Yes. So that is nice. You can see here I've got 180 total that I can take out. All the way down to none. We can put the solid bits back in. Let's see, I think I can, I can do all. Okay. That's interesting. This, honestly, I don't care for this quite as much as I do the experience obelisk, which is probably why you've never, if you've watched any of my previous series, you've probably never seen me use the experience solidifier. Mainly because I'm going to have to eat these to get my experience levels back. So I wanted to try this real quick. Let me just eat this whole stack and see what happens here. I want to try the all button and see. Yeah, see, it just doesn't take it all back, and that's fine. What we can do is let's get the rest of our experience out of here. There we go. And let's get that all in there. Nice. Very nice indeed. So at least we have a way now that I won't continue to lose my experience, because let's face it, I'm going to continue dying. But now that we've gotten that out of the way, see, I've got a few drawers in there. Let's see if we can't get a few of these guys, the compacting drawers. Looks like I need a little bit of stone. Not a big deal. We should be able to come right over here to our stoneworks. And I didn't need to take out the gravel. What happens if I just put that in furnace mode? Nothing. It's not going to let me cook it, so that's okay. Just turn you back off. And I don't really right now have a super easy way to get stone other than using this guy. So let's make sure that stone is selected. And that should go fairly quick. Let me see. I want to fix this. There we go. So I'd like to have no more than 2 stacks in here. These half drawers, I believe, I want to say hold something to the effect of 4 stacks apiece. Kind of liked it better when it told me how many stacks. I mean, I like that it tells me the exact number. Let's see if it'll tell me here. Yeah, 4 stacks per drawer. And that's not bad. Now, that's really not bad at all. Like, are you struggling? I think you are struggling, my friend. So I'm thinking we may... Oh, look at that. You can wash your hands. Isn't that nice? We may end up rearranging this a little bit, especially now that I know that this sink will, in fact, work as a supply for fluid water. And man, we've got a nice supply of tiny rubber working in there. So I think this is a little system I came up with, by the way. I've got a mechanical user set to place block using the right click, upper left slot only, so I can come in here and just basically drop off some wood. I could change that to any slot or random and just fill this up with wood. But honestly, I don't know, how much of this we're going to need. This thing does use power, so I think having a way to shut it down kind of works. Like this is just naturally going to stop, and then if I start pulling this stuff out, it will pick up again. So I kind of like how that works out. All right, so we've got a decent supply of stone now, and I think I'm just going to let this fill up. I'm just going to let that fill up with stone. We lucked out here with being able to get half a stack fairly quickly. So let's see if we can't get some more compacting drawers here. Am I missing redstone comparators? Is that what they... Oh, pistons. Okay. Well, that's not so bad. We can get some more pistons. We need 2 pistons per, so I want to try to get an even number if I can. And that looks like that should be good for now. We don't need a whole lot of them. Just a few. That'd probably be good. Because I've been working down here, and I've already got us a few of them set up. I've got our drawer controller up here with an external storage bus already on it. And I want to grab my keys really quick. I've crafted us a drawer key and a quantify key. I don't know that I'll keep them up here because honestly that's kind of a pain. I thought they looked kind of nice up there, but the reason I do this is so I don't... this is the easiest way to keep the grid from trying to put stuff in here without me wanting it to. I can just add this stuff like this, and then we'll target the drawer controller. There we go. So what we can do now with this, let's come back up here, is I want things like coal, for instance. I want all of my coal to go in the compacting drawer. In fact, I think it might be easier to do it like this, because that's a lot of coal. So what we can do is come down here and say up here at the top, I want my coal. There we go. See how it automatically compresses the coal into blocks. And now this is where it's going to get kind of difficult. I actually did this a little bit wrong, believe it or not. So let's take all that back out. Actually, you know, it might make more sense to take it out in the block form. Yeah, it takes up less inventory space that way. So what will happen now, though, is since I have that drawer marked, that sky stone, let's look for coal again. And let's see, I've got 5 blocks of coal, and I've got that. So let's see, I think an interesting thing might happen if I pop this coal in here. No, an interesting thing did not happen when I popped the coal in there. I wonder why that is. Because that should have sent it. Oh, I know why. What I need to do is prioritize that drawer system. Now this I'm doing a little bit different. Let's set this priority. Let's set that to 30. Why not? Set. Oh, 30E. How about 30? No E. Thank you. So now, the way the priorities work, once I put this in here, it should seek out the highest priority level first. So now we might see an interesting thing happen when I pop the coal blocks in. Yes. Now they're going down into those compacting drawers, and that is what I wanted to see. Now you can see that not only do I have 118 blocks of coal, I've got a little over 1,000 blocks of, or 1,000 pieces of the coal here. And when I pop in the little coal, the regular size coal, you can see that the blocks of coal went up. So I'm going to take this tiny coal, and we're going to turn it back into regular coal. Here we go. And then this can go back in there as well. There we go. And now all of our coal is being stored here in the compacting drawer. And that is exactly what I wanted to see. And we're also going to want to do something similar with the redstone. Now that's locked in there, and I'm just going to take this back out in block form. And the reason I'm doing it this way is I'm going to have to make a lot of trips to get all the stuff in there that I want. But since I have that priority set, I can actually just take it all out here, if I have room in my inventory, that is. I took out more than I actually intended to. Let's see, so if I pop this in, see there how I am showing redstone, and I can just pop all this stuff back in, and you can see that the redstone blocks are increasing as I'm putting that in, and that shows me that we did that right, and we are in fact placing all of our redstone in the compacting drawers, which again is exactly what I wanted to do. Another thing I think we can do this with is clay. That's another thing where I constantly need little bits of clay, or I need blocks of clay. I use both of them frequently. Yes. So now that actually was all of our clay, so I won't need to do anything funky with that. But this is generally what I do. I'm going to want to be able to do this with things like lapis, for instance. You can do that with lapis. Since we only have a little bit of lapis, we can just grab that lapis there, and I think we can also do it with nether quartz. It's going to keep jumping around because of the way I've got this Maybe I'll call this nether quartz. There we go. Make it easy on me to take all that stuff out of there. And we can kind of do the same thing with the lapis here. You can see that now I have access to the blocks relatively easily. And we should be able to do this with nether quartz as well. A lot of times it's up to the mod author because they have to basically rewrite the config file for this. Things like nether quartz and clay. Let's see, nether quartzes 4 grouped together make a block. 4 blocks of clay, or 4 groups of the little clay make a block. But it takes 9 blocks of these and 9 chunks of redstone to make the blocks. By default, I believe the storage drawers are set up only to do this with things that take 9. But the pack authors can go in and alter those config files. So this works in the Direwolf pack for nether quartz and clay, but it may not work like this in every pack. Because again, from my understanding, the pack author has to alter those config files. So basically, what we're going to be doing, things like glowstone you can do this with. Now, I usually also do this with, with the metals. But to be honest, I very rarely end up using that for metals. So I don't know if I'm going to get around to doing this with metals this time. I may, the metals I use more often like iron, I may end up just doing some auto-crafting recipes that will do the same thing basically if I need it. I'd say, though, there's a good chance I'll do it, if we're being honest, just because I'm kind of lazy. And that is the truth. Let's see. You can do it with slime blocks, believe it or not. We can get slime blocks in there. Ender pearls, I think. Let's see. Ender pearls sometimes. I don't always know about the ender pearls. Ender pearls are one of those that are hit and miss. Sometimes they do. We can get ender pearl blocks in this. Let's see, slime blocks will be a thing. Now that's interesting. I'm wondering if that is an Ore Dictionary thing. See, it's showing me I've got 7 of those, so let's see. Let's take all that slime out and try that again. I think that's kind of interesting. Okay, it doesn't. All right, that's what I wanted to know. So that'll make that. That's really interesting. Wonder if that's some kind of a bug or something. I'm gonna unlock that drawer, put those in. And then if I take them out again, that should clear that up. What happens if I put a... Okay. Yeah, there was some kind of a weird graphic or something there that didn't quite work. But that seems to be the answer, is putting in the blue slime block first. There we go. All right, so that's what we can put in there for now. We'll work on getting some more compacting drawers, but like I said, generally, I like having access to these items in block form and in their singular piece form a lot of the time. So that is one of the reasons I use the compacting drawers. Another reason that I've used, if you've watched a lot of my series in the past, is you've seen me with these big, giant drawers, drawer systems that house everything, and I kind of shy away from using the disk storage as much as I could. And that was honestly in case I had a power failure. But I've never had one. Or at least not to the degree that I couldn't recover from it. And that was always my fear. And that's actually why I keep the drawer keys out of the grid. It's just in case there's a power failure. and for some reason I can't access some things uh, that I might need to help get the power back on. That is my genuine fear. But I think this time I'm going to challenge myself, and honestly, if it doesn't go in a compacting drawer this time around, I'm not sure that I'm going to use it. I am toying with the idea of using the regular basic drawers for things like my cobblestone and netherrack storage, and that is because we can upgrade the drawers several times and put void filters in them. So I may, if we start getting a large enough collection of things like cobblestone, which I imagine we're getting there. And we're getting there. We've got almost this halfway filled up on the second page. So if we get to that point, I may seriously consider using some basic drawers for something. But my basic plan this time around is I really just want to stick with the compacting drawers if I can. So that's what I would like to do there. So wow, this is actually one of my faster getting things done episodes. Let's see what else we can work on, because I honestly didn't think I would get through all of that quick. Let's see what other kind of trouble we can get in. We've got a good amount of stone. We've got a decent amount of glass. It might be something else we can work on. Let's see. What we might do is, let's go ahead and take care of this real quick. I think this might be worth taking care of. Let's see here. Oh, I've got some extra glowstone in there somehow. Must have picked it up when I was picking out the glowstone. Let's get a little bit of, I think cobblestone will do just fine. And let's kind of clean that up. And we'll need a fluid duct, I think, and another servo. So let's do that. Let's get a fluid duct and another servo. And this stuff can just go away for now. Oh, you know what might not be a bad idea is let's make a little bit of tape. That'll be the first time this season. We're going to make some sticky tape, hopefully. Yeah. And this is just going to make it easier on us to move that drawer, because I think we're going to need to move it. So first things first, let's get some tape on that drawer before I forget, and get it in the inventory. And let's go ahead and break this guy and this guy, and we can get you covered up, and I think you can go away from there as well. Do I have a shovel handy? Yeah. Let's see. And we're going to want to put you here. And let's see, you're going to need to go here. And we can put you down here with the ender tank back on top, set to there. Always active. Oh, we might need to change this to input. Yes. And then we can change that to output. So that should be giving us stone. Excellent. And let's put a couple pieces of stone down there. And then we can bring our drawer back out. You know, I think it might look prettier if we did it this way. We'll need to reconfigure that again, but that's not really a big deal. That like that. Set you to blue, you to orange, and then let's put our drawer up here. And we should, yes, that is going to work. Awesome. So I like how that worked out. That is really nice. I like that. Now, the real thing here, you guys saw that I tried to use some covers. These are some plank covers that I've made. Uh-oh. I think I just broke a fluid duct. There we go. And I think I had you there. It doesn't look like I actually needed to have that on there. It's just kind of a habit I've gotten into with these fluid ducts. But from what I can tell, these fluid ducts have to go up against an actual fluid duct. There we go. And now it doesn't look like anything's happening there, which honestly, I kind of like that. I like how that works out. Now we could do something similar here. There's a few different things we could do. There are some higher tiered ducts that will transfer fluid and power. And we could sneak one of those down here under the ground, possibly. I don't really know. I haven't thought about it a whole lot. But what I do know is I am just tickled pink that this thing can be used in this way. I'm also wondering if the well could be used that way. There's a well, I believe, this one. Interesting. Light well. I want to see, let's craft one of those. That actually looks pretty cheap. Let's craft one of those just for fun to see if we can pipe anything in and out of that. But I think we can do that. Let's see, it just needed some iron and looks like any kind of stone. So let's see. I want to know. I really would like to know if we can pipe stuff out of there. Let's see if I can pop you down on the ground here. Well, let's start it right there. And let's see if we can get some kind of a drum, maybe. Are there any drums? Stone drum. How about an iron drum? We'll get a cauldron and some weighted pressure plates. And that should give us our iron drum, yes. Right. And let's put you right there. And we'll knock, oh, I guess we need to knock that out first. I think there's enough room here to do this. Let's get another couple of fluid ducts and another servo. And this, I really am just curious to see if this will work. Because that was actually quite a bit cheaper to craft than the sink. And let's just see if this will work. I think let's try this. Don't know if I'll be able to target it. No, that's not exactly what I wanted. I'm going to need my hammer. Not sure if I put it up or where it went. There I did. I didn't realize you could put those anywhere along the line. That's actually kind of nice to know. Ah. It's nice that I can fly. So glad I got that out of the way. And let's see. Okay, so it doesn't look like it's actually connecting. So that is not a good sign. Let's see if it will connect anywhere else, though. Like maybe on the side? Will you connect this way? No? How about up here? No. So it looks like I made the right call, going with the sink from cooking with blockheads. I don't know, again, I don't know that it was actually intended to work that way, but I am not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm just tickled pink that it actually works. Is there any water in this thing at all, I wonder? That's kind of... Oh, there is. Oh, that was not intentional. Let's see. There we go. There we go. Okay. So let's get this in the grid before I cause any more problems with it. Get this stuff all put up. But man, I gotta tell you though, I really do think that is pretty nifty. I do think I'll hang on to this for a little while though. Let's see if I can just pop you maybe right here. I think that looks as good a place as any. Just in case we do need some kind of water for crafting, at least it's there, right? But I think that is going to bring us to the end of today's episode. So I hope you enjoyed watching the show today. I hope maybe you learned a thing or two, or at the very least were amused. Be sure to leave me a like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to leave comments down below. I always welcome comments. Nice to know what you guys are thinking. So thanks for stopping by today, guys, and take care.